Hi, I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And as a business consultant and life coach, I help you to move forward in your business, project, or endeavor. So if you always wanted to write a book, but you just haven't seemed to get started, or you always wanted to 10x that business that you already have, expand it to the next level, you know exactly what you need to do, but you just haven't done it? Well, I've already purchased all the courses, read all the books, the Tony Robbins, all sorts. I have several degrees, including a master's degree and credits toward a doctorate. I've sat with and met celebrities and done the networking. And what I realized is what I really needed was a mastermind group of people working toward my project, my business, or my endeavor. So what I've done is met with coaches and met with experts and put them together to work on your project. So join us today for our Mastermind networking group. I'll see you there. Click the link below and join us.
Hi, this is Arlene. Hi, and welcome to the show. You can go where you want to go. You can do what you want to do, and you can be who you want to be in the world. It is an amazing day because today we're talking about relationships, okay? Something that everybody can glean from, okay? Whether you're already married and happily married or not so happily married, or you're just getting into a relationship, we're going to be giving you the nuts and bolts today, 10 key secrets. And for those of you who are already married, toward the end of the show, I'm going to give you 5 secrets as to how you can bring back the bliss and ensure that you maintain that success in your marriage at the end. So I'm so glad to be here today. We're going to start and get right into it. Secret number 1, what you are around is what you become. Now, every week we're talking about this book. It's called 10 Secrets to Overcoming Fear, Getting Unstuck, and Living Your Best Life. And proximity is secret number 4. So how can you be successful if the relationship that you're in or the people that you're around are not reflective of success and not supportive of you? It's just not going to happen, guys. Or it's going to be very challenging. So that's why secret number 1 in the relationship game is what you're around is what you become. So if you want to have a successful relationship, romantic relationship, you've got to make sure that the people that you're with or the person that you're with also wants to have a successful relationship. Does that person want to be married? Okay, you want to be married. Do they want to be married? Or do they not want to be married and you're in the relationship with them? It's just not going to work. Okay, you think you're going to convince them, but probably more likely than not, they're going to convince you that their way is right, or you're just going to have conflict between the two of you. So going into it from the start, from the beginning, make sure that you guys are on the same page, because whatever you're around is what you're going to become. All right. So that's step number 1. If the person is interested in exercise, you're going to be exercising. Okay. Or if that person enjoys eating, you're going to be eating, because now you're going to be going out to extreme eating places. What do they call those places? The smorgasbord type places where you can do all you can eat. So you really need to be conscious of who this person is that you're selecting as your partner, because that's what you're going to reflect eventually. Secret number 2. So it makes sense that you're going to want to get around people that are going to pull out the best in you and make you stand on your toes and make you want to move forward just by the fact that they're moving forward. So I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I was in a marriage and I was in a doctoral program in the marriage. And the husband that I had at the time did not want me to do a doctoral degree for whatever reason, whether I should or I shouldn't. The bottom line is he didn't want that. And I was in the program. So it was a constant fight and friction because I was in the classes. I'd already paid. I was going. And every time it was time for me to go, it was a big fight. So we want to be around people, marry people that are going to also be married to our dreams and our goals and our visions. Okay? If they don't have buy-in to that business, then that's not the person for you. Unless you've decided, listen, this relationship is more important to me than that goal that I have or that vision that I have or that plan that I have for my life. Okay, so it's a either or, guys. Either you're going to give up your dream and your vision, or eventually the relationship is not going to work. Okay, because 9 times out of 10, like there are some people who do change, but 9 times out of 10, it's going to be very challenging to push that other person to change their thoughts and to change their mind about what they think and what they believe you should be doing. Okay, so just from the onset, find a supportive person. And or in the very beginning, before you get married, let them know that this is really important to you and that without this, you have no relationship. So there's a very successful businessman. His name is Grant Cardone. And Grant Cardone said that he didn't get married until he was later on in life, until he was already a successful business person, because he knew that he was married to his business. He knew that all of his time, his energy, his efforts, his love and his passion were vested and invested in his business. So he didn't have space for a wife and kids. Okay. So once he had established his business, then he moved on and took on the marriage. So am I saying to you as a young person or a young woman with a biological clock ticking that you should wait until you achieve all your goals? Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that make sure that when you enter that relationship that you share with that other person the importance that that thing has to you, so that it's not going to be a conflict later on and create challenges and problems in the relationship. So another thing, I was telling you guys about my divorce story because eventually, it didn't work out because the things that I wanted weren't the same things that he wanted. And so it was like a control battle, like either I'm going to be the winner or he's going to be the winner. And that's not really what you want for your ideal relationship. And 9 times out of 10, guys, a lot of these relationships that break up, they can be saved. They can be salvaged. But the idea is you've got to start with all of this criteria on the front end and not just wait till the back end till you're already married to address some of these issues. And a lot of times too, people are interested in finances, but everybody has a different financial threshold. So here's another story. This gentleman, he just wanted to spend. And this young lady, she wanted to save because women are all about, security and safety. And this gentleman in this particular situation was all about adventure and, spending his money for fun things. And so there was a conflict and it caused a divorce. So I'm saying, guys, whatever it is, if you desire to be in a relationship, a successful relationship, and you're not in one now, decide to be in one. The reason that you're not in that successful relationship right now is because you haven't decided. And you say, Arlene, is it that simple? Remember the 10 steps that we've been talking about. The first step was clarity, being clear about who you are and what you want in your life. The second was visualization. And the third was momentum. You're moving in the direction of that goal or that dream or that plan. So if you don't have that relationship, it's because you haven't decided to have it. Okay? There's somebody out there for everybody and anybody. I don't care if you're skinny, if you're fat, there's a relationship. If you're skinny, there's a relationship. If you're unintelligent, there's a relationship. If you're super smart and super wealthy, there's a relationship. Because guys, we can point to and look at people out there in the world who fit all sorts of criteria who are in successful relationships. So it's not about us. It's not about who we are right now. It's about what we desire. Because regardless of, excuse the colloquialism, but regardless of whether you're jacked up or not, there's still somebody out there who's willing to partake with you in that jacked upness. So step number 1, being clear about who you are, what you want, visualizing that thing that you want, and then 3, moving forward in terms of momentum. So guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. Right now, my technology is really messing up. So we're going to go to break so that I can figure out how to get the technology to work the way it's supposed to work. And then we'll be right back. But really and truly, guys, the next few secrets that we have are life-changing. Okay, we'll be right back.
I'm Arlene, host of the television talk show Ask Arlene, which airs on Thursdays at 6:30. And I'm here to tell you 2 reasons why you should join our Speakers Bureau training and our how to become a world-class speaker. 1, revenue generation. People who know how to communicate well earn more dollars and cents. And 2, if you have a day job, you're not a speaker, teacher, author, trainer, you're going to gain promotion on your job if you're better able to communicate with confidence in those board meetings. Now, you say, why should I join your group, Arlene? There are so many programs out there. Well, I'm guaranteeing you an interview on television or radio if you complete our 10 sessions of our Speakers Bureau training. So I have a plethora of friends that do the same types of things that I do, and so we're guaranteeing you an interview on either television or radio. And you say, well, why else, Arlene? Why else should I join? Well, if you join our Speakers Bureau after having taken the 10-session training, I am going to help you, along with our team, to launch that speaking career that you always envisioned so that you can use your message to change the world. So there's so many programs out there and they tell you how to be a speaker, but I'm going to actually help you to get booked on paid speaking engagements, on television and on radio if you complete all 10 sessions and you join our Speakers Bureau. I hope to see you there and see you using your dream, your vision, and your talent to change the world. Bye-bye. See you there.
Hello and welcome back. Now I can see you. Guys, I couldn't see anything before. Okay, so I'm Arlene and we are talking about relationships, and we're talking about the relationship that you truly want to have and how to get it. So we're up to secret number, and it's down there because our team is so helpful that they're helping us to stay on track so that we can give you all of these key points in the next few minutes. And so we're up to secret number 4. And secret number 4 is, drum roll please, proximity. Okay, stop taking advice from the plumber. Okay. So in the show that we did in recent times with Walter Aguilar, he's been married for 27 years. And we asked him, what is your secret to being married for all this time? What's your longevity secret? And he shared it with us. Okay, I have been married and I have been divorced. Okay, so I can tell you some of the things that worked and some of the things that didn't work. Okay, learn from my mistakes. When we go out and we're asking people for advice, and sometimes we're not even asking for advice. People are just giving us their advice on relationships. We need to think about the source. If this is somebody who has had a very poor relationship, well, then we're listening to them to hear what not to do, what they did that didn't work that caused them to, fall off the cliff in terms of their marriage. But if we're looking for information as to how we can grow in a marriage, you may not want to take that advice from your friend who is just like you, who has never been in a marriage and really has no clue, is just talking. Okay, so be clear about who it is. So I say the plumber. I love my plumber. My plumber is great. Okay. He helps us with things that we need in our house. So it's not really an attack on the plumber. It's the idea of, what is this person an expert in? What is this person knowledgeable about? And should I be listening to their opinion on this because it's going to enhance me and benefit me, or this person really is not enhancing me in this particular area? So some people may say, well, there's this guy, Samuels, and he is always talking about relationships and he's got like tons and tons of followers. And we say, well, is he in a successful relationship? You need to ask that question. I'm not going to answer it. I'm going to tell you to find out if that's somebody that you listen to. All right, so moving right along. I believe that it is imperative, okay, that we have mentors. And that really is a part of secret number 10, which I'm going to get to. And I know I'm messing my team up, but it is in line with what we're talking about. We're saying that proximity to what you want is essential. So if you want to have a successful relationship, and that's something that's important to you, because it may not be, okay, I realize that, but the fact that you're listening to this and you're up to secret number 4 means that it is something of interest to you. Find the people who have successful relationships and get around them. Whatever you're around is what we become. Okay, what you talk about grows. Where energy goes, energy flows. So if you're flowing with people who have successful relationships, chances are you're going to have a successful relationship. If you're flowing with people who are constantly talking about their spouse and bad mouthing their spouse or their partner or their boyfriend or their girlfriend, you're going to have to join in too eventually and say, yeah, well, this woman that I'm with or this man that I'm with, he has challenges and he has problems too. Because you don't want to be the only one sitting with the perfect relationship when all your friends are talking about how trashy their partners are. Okay. So I'm saying it in a funny way, but the truth is we must find people who reflect the things that we want to become in terms of relationships. So if you have a niece or a nephew and you're constantly talking with them about how bad their relationship is, you need to find some people that you can speak about how positively your relationship is going. Watch some videos about good relationships. Watch television programs about good marriages. Marriages. I tried to find TV shows that reflected positive marriages, and I was really hard pressed to do it. I'm one of those people who loves to watch Lifetime, and I was with a partner at the time. I was married, and the partner said to me, every time you watch these Lifetime movies, we have a fight. Because in 9 out of 10 of those programs, the girl meets boy, and boy ends up beating up wife, and then they end up getting a divorce. So, guys, it sounds like it's simple, and most things are, but it's simple to do, but it's also simple not to do. So I'm saying if you want to have a successful relationship, listen to me. Find people who have successful relationships and talk about your successful relationship, because that energy that you're giving it verbally will cause it to grow and expand. Let's move on to the next secret. Start somewhere. Okay, so I hear some people saying, well, what if I don't know anybody that has a successful relationship? What if the friends that I have and the people that I'm around reflect negative relationships? Maybe they didn't see good, positive relationships. Or maybe your partner didn't have a successful mom or dad relationship. Is it possible that everywhere you look, there are people who either have bad relationships, romantic relationships, or no marriages at all? Yeah, it's possible. So what I'm saying to you is step out of your comfort zone, because the reason why you're comfortable there is because the people are just like you. They're hanging on by a thread, or they're not married, or they're not seeking to be married. And so if you're looking to move to go to that next level, it makes sense to actively start somewhere. Find somebody who does have a successful relationship, or find somebody who has a marriage, period. Okay, because you don't really know if it's successful or not initially, and start talking to them. Start engaging with them about the valuable relationship that they are in. Guys, there is almost nothing more valuable than the relationship that you're in, because that reflects and affects everything. It affects how much money you make. It affects where you go to school, if you go to school. It affects what you do with the money that you have. It reflects your kids. It reflects your kids' kids down through the generations. All of these things are impacted by the relationships that we are in. And if we want to grow as a community, if we want to expand individually, if we want to expand culturally, who you're in a relationship with really and truly is the most important thing. Okay, guys, so start somewhere. So I'm usually talking about business, and I'm saying, well, if you can't get around Jeff Bezos, then start with a 100K business owner. So I'm saying, okay, if you can't get around the perfect relationship, start with somebody who's married and in a positive relationship, or somebody who's in a relationship, because at least that shows that they had some level of discipline because they stayed married. Okay, let's move on. Next step. Okay, collective consciousness. That's the same type of thing that we've been talking about. Doing a relationship inventory, guys. Get out a piece of paper and write down the 5 closest people to you and ask yourself, are these people in successful relationships? Do an inventory. And if you can't come up with 5, then come up with 6 or 7 of your closest friends. And are any of those people in intact relationships, okay? Marriages. Because I'm suggesting that marriage is something that we should endeavor to do. So a lot of people today ask that question, well, is marriage even necessary? Lots of people are just, hanging out and doing their thing. Is it necessary? So this is the Ask Arlene Show. You're watching my show. So in my estimation, yes, I'm saying yes, it is essential. It is important. And we should find people who have successful marriages who can give us insight as to how they did it. Okay, so I can tell you what not to do. Okay, I can tell you bits and pieces of how to get into a marriage and how to get into a successful relationship. But if you want to find out as far as the longevity, there are some people who, would know a lot more than I do as far as the longevity piece. All right, and that's okay. Start making it a priority, guys, to find those people. Don't wait till there are challenges in your relationship or challenges in your marriage or challenges even in your business relationships. Start from now, make it a priority, do an inventory, and find these people and start moving in that direction. Remember, there's no such thing as a standstill. You're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. So it would make sense for us to focus on moving forward and finding the things that we need to do to make the relationship better, to enhance it so that it can last. And remember, guys, there are people who are watching us and learning from us too. And so we want to be light and salt to the earth. We want to be somebody that helps other people with their struggles. So the way that we're going to do that is by finding out how to make our relationship work. Okay, because there's a Asian proverb. Okay, and it says, sweep your doorway first before you sweep somebody else's doorway. So we're always giving people advice, our friends, our family, about relationships. Oh, you should do this, you should do that. Step number one, let's make sure that ours is going in the right direction. Okay, moving right along. Perfect love casts out all fear. Oh, I love this saying. So if you're in a relationship and you just have love, that perfect love, then you don't have to worry. You don't have to think about the 10 secrets to overcoming fear, right? And getting unstuck because there is no fear, right? Guys, go ahead and get this book. So if you are in a relationship and you're saying to yourself, perfect love casts out all fear, then that's wonderful. It sounds beautiful, but it's an action. We have to take micro incremental moves toward making that, to casting out that fear. So if you and your partner have nothing in common, okay, is it likely that you're going to be fearful in your relationship because you guys are not working towards something that is good or better? Yeah. Perfect love casts out all fear, but you're afraid because every evening your partner goes off into the, other room and is on the phone calling other people and texting other people. Or would you be fearful? Yeah, like something else is possibly going on. Okay. If on the other hand, you don't know what your partner is doing because you and your partner are not talking and you're not sharing with each other what's going on, then will you have fear in your relationship? Yes. And if you're giving fear to the relationship, then will fear grow? Yes. Will the arguments increase? Yes. Will it get worse and worse until eventually you have no positive relationship at all? Yes. So perfect love casts out all fear, but we have to take actions. Okay. We have to begin the conversation. You have to decide. Kaidir, decide comes from the word kaidir, which means cut. You've got to cut off all other options and say, this will work. Okay, and we will not operate in fear, and we will begin to speak and communicate with each other in the areas that are, dark or that we don't understand or that are things that are challenging. The relationship will not break. You must communicate. Okay, communication is key. All right, so perfect love casts out fear. Yes, but we have to take strides. We have to be communicating, and we have to do things to make sure that fear is not in operation, but that, we're operating in the opposite of fear. All right, next one. Don't argue with your mentors. So if you're in a relationship with someone and you're constantly arguing, I don't mean discussing, I don't mean having heated conversation. I mean, you're constantly arguing. That is not good. That is not good. That is not healthy, especially too if you have other people around you and they hear you constantly arguing and yelling. What kind of angst are you having in your household? So the secret is to decide. Use that word again, kaidir. Decide that you are never going to threaten your partner. with a breakup. So if you're married, this is for you. You're never going to threaten your partner with breakup, because the minute you say that, you're telling the other person that you're one step out, and they may pull the trigger before you. They may start planning to get out before you even have an opportunity to do so, because they heard what you said. So you don't want to argue with people who are going to give you advice about how to improve your marriage. So find somebody that you trust, find somebody that you think has some value to bring to the table, and then trust that person and move in that direction, okay? Because if you're arguing with every single thing that that person says and you're going back and forth with your mentor, the person or people who are supposedly helping you with your marriage or your relationship, then they're not going to want to help you, guys. Okay? So finding that mentor, that's what we discussed in the beginning. And now, really, really important is not to argue with them, but to trust what they're saying and move forward. And chances are that what they're saying to you is different from what you were doing or what you are doing, because that's why you didn't have the successful relationship already, because you were doing something different. So it makes sense that their concepts and what they're sharing with you is different than what you're maybe accustomed to hearing or accustomed to doing. So don't argue with mentors. This is in business or in business relationships or in romantic relationships. If you find somebody that you place your value in, take the advice that they're giving you and move forward. And I can't tell you the number of times that people have asked me for advice on things that I know, things that they know I know about, and then they argue with me about the response that I give them because it doesn't sound like something that they've been doing. But the results that they've been getting have not been fruitful. Okay, so guys, we have a few minutes left. Let's go through our last few points. We have 2 minutes left. Time is of the essence. So if you're in your 20s, you have time, all right? You should be dating. You should be investigating. You should be establishing and finding out what you do like and what you don't like. So take those relationships, date, go out. I'm not saying sleep with the people. I'm saying go out with many different people so you can see what you like and also get to know yourself. Okay, 20s is too young, okay? If you haven't been out there and you haven't seen what's out there, my suggestion, and this is the Ask Arlene Show. I got married very young and I really didn't have a clue. So some people say, well, it doesn't matter. You pray about it. God brings you that perfect person in a cloud. Poof, he or she is perfect. And you just marry them. My advice, based on my experience, is to spend a little time getting to know that person. And also spend a little time getting to know yourself and what you truly want in life. Because at 20 years old, 21, 22, it's very challenging to even know what you want out of life. So how can you really know what you want in that other person? So all I'm saying is I'm not saying don't get married in your 20s, but I'm saying take time to find out who you are and also take time to explore who that other person is before you make that lifelong commitment. In your 30s, by the time you're in your 30s, guys, you should be on the way. Okay, so we're wrapping up. And the last one, get a coach. It was a pleasure spending time with you. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Abele. Thank you, our listeners, for spending time with us. Go to www.askarleneshow.com and get more information, and join us again next week, because we're going to go more in depth in relationships and give you the tools and tips and secrets as to how you can have that lasting longevity in your relationship. Thank you.
Stop the growth, I bet you think you could. Said you gon' leave me, man, I wish you would. Yeah, I'm different, so I'm misunderstood. So I'ma always be good. Said I'ma always be good.